All right, hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here. It is March 16th, 2018, about 8:02 p.m. here on the West Coast, and covering a full earthquake update video here. It's been a pretty active weather day here in California. A lot of severe thunderstorms and hail, possibly up to an inch and a half here in Northern California today. And unfortunately, I was at work, so I missed it all. But that's okay. I mean, life goes on, and that's just part of adulting, I guess. Jumping real quick into the California Nevada earthquake map here, shows, well, pretty quiet for the most part. Little spike of an earthquake down there by Berkeley. Nothing too big. Actually, the entire West Coast for the most part has been pretty gosh darn quiet. A little bit bigger earthquake there, 3.1 near Thousand Palms, California. You can see that 3.1 there in the red. That's this location up here near Yucca Valley. And you got the Salton Sea area down here. But other than that, just your typical normal day here in California, aside from the very large hail and severe weather that they had here in Northern California. Gosh darn it. Anyway, no sense crying over what, spilled milk? Is that what they say? Okay. Anyway, looking at the hourly tremor map shows well, just one little spike or one little detection down there of tremor in Northern California. We can take it back the last 24 hours and see a little bit more detail here in Northern California and also Western Washington up here as well. But nothing too big. Nothing extraordinarily being read on these tremor maps within the past couple days there. So fairly quiet in that area as well. Let's take a look at the earthquake 3D globe and take a look at the worldwide activity. Just a cluster, and this here is the last 24 hours of earthquakes from USGS, the EMSC, and also GeoNet in New Zealand region. All data within the last 24 hours. Pretty much I don't really need to explain this, but look at the absence of activity. This is all older earthquakes disappearing off of the USGS data as well. Look at the absence of activity over here on the Western Pacific Plate. Yeah, a little bitty 4.4. Okay, that just occurred. 159 kilometers below the surface. Did have a 5.0 a little bit ago down near the Antarctica region. It's well south of New Zealand and Australia area. But the absence of earthquakes here is just kind of astonishing, I should say. Kind of puzzling in a way. No activity. None. Zero. Zip. Most of the activity is over here towards South America, in between Puerto Rico, southern Mexico, South America region, seeing a little cluster of threes. Also down in the Chile region, seeing a large cluster of fours and whatnot down there. Pretty interesting to see all this activity, but the absence of activity over here on the Western Pacific. We'll have to see what happens overnight. It's just kind of strange to see that. An extremely deep earthquake over there in the Mediterranean Sea region. That's this ring being raised off the globe right here. It's just a smaller earthquake, and it's an older earthquake, but nonetheless some deep movement being detected and reported by the EMSC Mediterranean Station data station over there. Just, nothing big. Threes, almost a 4 right there with that 3.9. But nonetheless, some activity occurring, and it's deep there. A couple deep earthquakes. Have to watch out there for some further development and movement. See exactly what becomes of it. Other than that, guys, a pretty quiet day if you look at it. Yeah, 4.0 from last night, I believe, off Northern California coastline. But, that's an older earthquake, so just not a whole lot of activity right now on the Pacific Plate. I swear I keep feeling like an earthquake happening, but it might just be my imagination. because my earthquake rock is not moving up there. But I got a little cool, it's a crystal hanging from about a 3-foot long string. So it's wrapped around the crystal, tied up to a kind of like a loop, thumbtack loop up on the ceiling, and it just hangs there. And it has picked up activity before, so the rock kind of like swings back and forth, just barely. But nonetheless, when there's earthquake activity, I can see it visually with the rock moving. It's kind of cool. As long as the earthquake activity is, within my region there. Other than that, it doesn't move. It just kind of just hangs there. And every once in a while, change directions. It's a pretty cool crystal with a golden color or amber colored tip at the crystal. And right now it's kind of pointing towards the northwest. But it does move around. It's pretty cool. Anyway, space weather, continuing with the coronal hole. We're still inside of it. According to the spaceweather.com site, a stream of solar wind is buffeting Earth's magnetic field today. And I'm not for sure if that was today or yesterday. But the chances of geomagnetic or polar geomagnetic activity continues on March 16th and the 17th with a 40% chance there. But looking at the data, it's still definitely still within the stream. You can see the current aurora oval. Pretty strong right now. We'll see if Alaska gets that as well once the nightfall comes around there. Sunspot activity. There is a very, very small sunspot right here. You can see 2701. I can't even see it. Can you guys see it? Where is it? Wow, it may have already disappeared. Huh. Anyway, yeah, it's there. But they're stating that it's going to disappear. It says a tiny new sunspot, AR 2701, is nearly invisible. That just answered my question. And will likely be gone tomorrow as it quickly fades away, leaving us with a continued blank sun. Here's the current view of the sun there. You can see that large coronal hole now kind of turning away from Earth, but nonetheless that activity is affecting us tonight, and like I say, possibly tomorrow too, with some auroras on the higher latitudes. It'd be nice to be up in northern Alaska to check that out right about now. One of these days I'll definitely get up there, for sure. But other than that, folks, I mean, it's pretty quiet. Like I said, there was quite a bit of activity on the weather scene today. I can show you a little loop of the area. We had some at least reported 3/4 inch hail north of Chico, California, Northern California. But prior to this loop right here, over in this part of the Sacramento Valley, is where we had about 5 big thunderstorms dropping a lot of hail on Interstate 5, this red line right here. And also, from what I hear, some reports of 1.5 inch size hail. Not confirmed, but definitely some reports of that going around. Had some thunderstorms with 30,000 feet tops on them, and with that altitude there, you can definitely get that hail tumbling up there, bunching up together, and coming down as a huge chunk of ice. So I definitely believe it. Now things are starting to calm down a little bit, and it's looking pretty quiet. Like I say, unfortunately I had to work, missed out, but that's part of the adulting scene, in the way of paying bills and all that good stuff, going to work. So anyway, we'll continue on with the sadness tonight, and I'll just cry myself to sleep because I missed out on all the action. So anyway, folks, hope you all have a good Friday night. Stay safe out there. The weekend's coming up. Play it safe. If you are drinking, whatever you're doing out there, play it safe, and be good. Have an earthquake plan like I say, expect the Pacific Plate here to be somewhat active, considering the absence of activity over here right now. I'm sure that's going to pick up somewhat this weekend. So, all right, folks, have a good weekend, and we'll probably talk to you tomorrow night around this time.